see, we're going to give it a second. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so what had happened was, we have a switch right here to turn our mics on, but I also have a switch on the actual mic, and I forgot to turn that on. But we're here. Hello, everybody. Let's go ahead and get through this now. Rita's saying y'all can hear me. Hopefully y'all can hear me now because I have the mic on and we've got the sound pumping up as well. I'm sure y'all can hear me now. Let's see. For some weird reason, it's saying no sound. Y'all are still saying no sound, but okay, y'all can hear it now. Y'all should be able to hear it now because I have it on. All right, I thought y'all could hear me for a sec because I know my, oh yeah, there we go. Marjorie said there we go. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, for real this time. We're taking a look right now at our radar, and I am going to pull that up right now, and it's showing just a few isolated to widely scattered showers over portions of Bastrop County. And we're going to show you a weather camera in just a little bit because there's something that we like to see on most days, but on today we don't. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that up right now, and that's Lake Travis. Notice that there's sunlight there. You don't want to see the sun out today, folks. And the reason for that is because it drives up that instability and drives up that moisture and that drives up the daytime heating. And out ahead of that front, that could lead to one or two stronger storms that could slide on through, and that could be a very large hail producer. And that's what we're going to get to today. But we have a couple of other threats we want to talk about in a little bit. But as we move forward here, this is our new severe outlook. That came out at around 11:30. This came out during midday, as a matter of fact. And it shows pretty much the entirety of the KVUE viewing area. An exception is western Mason, as well as western Gillespie counties, as well as southern sections of Caldwell and Fayette counties. They're now under that slight risk for severe weather for pretty much the entire KVUE viewing area. And if you notice even a small section of Milam County, which appears to include Cameron, they're now in that enhanced risk, that 3 out of 5. So they have better chances of hail and damaging winds and maybe those isolated tornadoes. Now we're going to show you the hatched area. That also has expanded to include much of the KVUE viewing area. Now let me take myself back full to explain what that hatched area is. The hatched area is an area where hail could be about golf ball to ping pong ball sized hail. We could even be talking about baseball sized hail, folks. So let me tell you this about everything. Make sure that your cars are in a carport or a garage. Do not leave it out in the open. I know some of y'all got those big old trucks with them big old wheels, and I'm here to tell you right now, you better get them things covered, because if they are not covered up with a cloth or a cardboard or what have you, it's going to be a very hefty repair bill. And I know with inflation, y'all don't want to deal with any additional charges. So you want to make sure you have those cars covered at least, or at the very best, even under a carport or in a garage, because that can cause some issues. Now, hail can cause issues for roofs too. And roofing services are probably looking at this salivating a little bit, because it is definitely possible that they could get a lot of business from it. Now, I wouldn't wish this on anybody about any damages, but you definitely want to be paying attention and staying weather aware, and stay inside too, because a hailstone can hit you in the head and it could be quite painful as well. So let me go ahead and pull this back up here, and let me show you how we have our severe threats. Again, large hail is definitely the severe threat, but we've also got damaging winds that are possible as well, especially since we have that quasi-linear orientation of that front that's going to slide on through later on tonight. And again, we cannot rule out a brief isolated spin-up tornado. Now we're going to slowly together go through this timing, and I'm going to take this full because that is going to be the #1 question you guys have. So this is at around 1 o'clock this afternoon. We are looking at just those isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms across much of the KVUE area. And then as we scroll through around 2:30, 3 o'clock, that is when those start to break apart, and we're going to see some sunshine throughout the course of the day. And that's, again, not good news, because instability and that kind of thing, instability and moisture, they're going to start to jack up as we head throughout the course of the evening and into the overnight. There it is by around 7 o'clock. This model even has a couple of discrete cells popping up, and those could be very big hail producers earlier on in the evening even as well. Then as we get through around 9:30, this is where we start to see that main line make its way through central Texas. Now, the earlier model runs had this being a little more widespread than this, but as we go through around 11:30, 12 a.m., midnight, this is when the main line makes its way through. And then by around 1 to 2 in the morning, we start to see the coastal plains, portions of Hays County start to get in on the action as well. Places like Bastrop, Lockhart, Luling, out toward Rosanke at around 2:30, 3 o'clock. And then places like Giddings, LaGrange by around 4:30. Well, really Giddings about the same time as Bastrop, but then you've got LaGrange, Schulenburg, Flatonia, out toward Muldoon, out in Fayette County, starting to get that at around 4 a.m. And then everything gets out of here by the time we get to around 6 a.m. But still could be a wet morning commute on your Thursday and a very loud overnight, so you may get awakened from it. So, Margie, to answer your question, let's see what questions you guys have. Let's see what questions y'all have on timing, because that is the number one thing you guys are going to be asking. And I know that'll be the case throughout the course of this chat that we have here, and especially with the 183 of y'all watching, because I know y'all are going to have questions for sure. Tony Perez saying, get to the point. I already did, brother. I already did. And Jackson Heath going to bat for me as always. Big weather enthusiast. But anyways, Margie Ann Diaz, do we have a time for this tonight? Well, I just showed this, and I'm going to show it again. Where are you going? Fayette County and timing. Phoenix. Yes, we are looking mainly at around, let's say around 3:30, 4 a.m. for LaGrange, and then 4 a.m. for Schulenburg, Muldoon, Flatonia, those areas, to answer your question. Vanessa, oh yes, we're going to talk a little bit about Friday and Saturday in just a little bit, but Saturday looks to be mostly dry. Let's see. Alicia, Jordan, you're such a savage. Why, thank you. Let's see. Abby Helms out in Bell County. You're going to get it slightly earlier. I'm thinking around 9:30, 10 o'clock now. Bell County is my old stomping grounds. I came from KCEN in Temple, so I'm very familiar with Bell County, McLennan County, and those areas. So, yeah, Marjorie, my pleasure. Phoenix, my pleasure. We're going to talk about Saturday in a minute, but I know a lot of y'all have. Keon, I will. You got it. But anyways, yeah. All right, you ought to be in Round Rock at 5. Roxy, you should be all right. You should be all right. To answer your question, I know you were asking about Round Rock for an appointment later. I was wondering what the specific timing was, and now we got it 5 o'clock. Y'all should be good. And Tina, we're going to go through it one more time. The discrete hail cells look to be early in the evening according to this particular model. And then as we head through 9:30, 10 o'clock, could have another round of hail and damaging winds at around 9:30, 10 o'clock. Gina is asking about Giddings. And Giddings, we are looking at around 1 to 2 a.m. for you. Tony, to answer your question about the garage, make sure you have it covered with a cardboard or maybe even like a giant cloth. Like if you had like a moving cloth, something like that, that can help you to be able to have those windows covered and prevent dents from being on your car. So that's something you want to look at. And Kyle looks pretty good, Elva, and you're looking at around 2:30, 3 a.m. Liberty Hill, Abby, we are looking at around 10:30, 11 tonight. San Marcos in the clear for hail? Nope. Nobody is, Amy, by the way. It's going to finally depend on who gets what cell, what part of the storm. 1:30, 2 o'clock looks like the best chance. Fredericksburg, Tammy, I know y'all are going through it. This model kind of has it skirting y'all a little bit by the time we get to 11:30, 12 a.m., but we can't make any assumptions. Robin is asking about Gerald. Utah, Karsher, I don't know. And Phoenix, not a relevant question, but what I can tell you is Austin is way bigger to answer that. So, Robin, about Gerald, we are looking at around 8:30, 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10. Burnett, about the same time, 9:30, 10. So, Liberty Hill, same time as Burnett and Gerald. Fredericksburg, again. Round Rock, Mindy, same story. Let's see, what else do we have here? Around 1:30 a.m. too. Oh, Lisa, Austin Metro, Austin proper, looking at around 12:31. Kristen, I'm so sorry to hear about the hail damage out in Burnett, because I know that was a big kahuna for sure, and make sure you have it protected as much as possible, because I really don't want your repair bills to be worse than what they probably already are if some of you already have hail damage. And that's this part that's going to be real sad about this, that there could be a lot of hefty repair bills. And I know there's there's a lot of people who are going to be struggling with that. And so there's a lot we have to talk about with that, because that's, and Isabella Basco, by the way, last week did something about it, and I think it's very important that everybody looks at it. So Lakeway for Jita, and Roxy is asking for 290 Springdale. We're looking at around 1:30, 2 o'clock. Lakeway, pretty much the same time frame. Lockhart, we're looking at around 2:30 for you guys. So real quick, hold your questions for a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about Friday, because Friday we also have a slight risk, and it's mainly going to be areas along and west of I-35 again. Coastal plains, you're going to be in more so of that marginal risk. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at another model, another short range model that has the graph, that actually has this storm system making its way through. So this is at around 11:30, and I'm going to scroll this a little bit. This is for Friday, and we're looking at around 8:39 for Austin proper, and a little bit sooner than that according to this model for our northern zones. And with that, it is best to stay home on this Friday night, maybe watch Netflix, Hulu, or more importantly, KVUE Plus, which some of you probably are going to be watching on right now as this system makes its way through. This is going to be out at 10, 10:30 into 11 o'clock at night, and then emptying out by the time we get to the midnight hours. So if you're one of those people who likes to wait until midnight to get on out to 6, the rainiest would be good. But for the most part, it would be best to just stay in. Now with that, let's go back to tonight. Let's go back to tonight's threat, because we definitely are looking for timing, and we're going to go ahead and let's see who else hasn't. And Tina, I just answered Round Rock. I said about 10, 9:30, 10, 9:30, 10. Could be a little later. This is just one model. 9:30, 10. And then we're looking at 11 for places like Rockdale, Cameron. That area, by the way, under an enhanced risk. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got a tornado warning mainly north of us, but possibly Milam County, because they're not enhanced. So Bastrop, 5:30, no. Bastrop not at 5:30. We should be good. If you're in Bastrop at around 5:30, you should be okay. It's overnight tonight we are looking at. Overnight tonight. Roxy, me neither. And I grew up in Georgia, where we've had severe weather much of the year, much of the spring, like we do here. So I know I know the feeling. Felix, Phoenix, of course you are watching. And okay, Honora asking from Leander. Honora de Pina Rivera asking for Leander. Now we're looking at 8 o'clock. Could see maybe a discrete cell probably along I-35. This is just one model again, so take this with a grain of salt. Then as we head through 9:30-10, that's when that line moves through. 9:30-10 for you guys in Leander. Colette Schroeder out in North Belton. That's just outside of the KV viewing area, but around 9:30-10 is where I think it'll reach for you guys. Laredo, I do not think you guys are in this. Laredo, obviously way down on the Rio Grande by the border, but potentially I would say around 6, 7:30 tomorrow morning for Laredo. Yes, and so Christina Guzman says, perfect, thank you. We have football practice. My pleasure. Honora, my pleasure. Lisa, my pleasure. Tony, my pleasure. Roxy, my pleasure. Lucy asking about Hutto. We're looking at around 10:30, 11 through about midnight. That's going to be the time frame for Hutto. Maybe extending till around 1 a.m. Depends on when the models are going to be, depending on when that storm gets here, depending on when that front gets here. It could be faster, it could be slower than this. So definitely got to pay attention to that. Now, Evan just joined us, so I know he apologizes if he asked about Kyle. I'm thinking around 1 a.m., 1:30 to 2 a.m. for you guys. Let's see. Wow, we're almost done. We're already on 18 minutes, y'all. Woo! Man, y'all are a great group. Let's see who else. San Marcos, James, pretty much the same time, 1:32. Same time, pretty much, James, like I just said for Kyle. West Point. West Point. Let's see where y'all are real quick. I'm trying to remember. I'm not sure if West Point's in the KV viewing area, to be frank with you, but that is near, oh, Western Fayette County. Okay, cool. So, yeah, we're looking at around 2:33. 2:33 for you guys out in Western Fayette County. Yeah, they all are really small, West Point. But, yeah, 2:30, 3 o'clock, maybe on through 3:30 and 4. Anything before 1:30 or 2? Yeah, Evan, yeah, it's just could be a discrete hail cell. Yes, it's right here, 8:30. Yeah, could see some discrete hail cells. So Hunter Williams and Grace Thornton, they're going to be here later on this evening, and they're going to be tracking everything early on for you. And then myself will get in here early tomorrow morning along with meteorologist Shane Hinton. We're going to be tracking everything for you and continuing everything on. We're going to trade out and hand off by the time we get to around 2:30 in the morning. So at that point, that would likely be about over Bastrop, Lee counties, southern Blanco, and portions of Hayes counties. Now, we're going to look at the rain. It could still be raining Thursday a.m. To answer your question, Russell, could be hanging around through around Thursday a.m., but then by the time we get to 9, 10 o'clock, everything should dry out, and we should be really nice for your Thursday afternoon before our next round as we go through the day on Friday. So let's see. We're going to go through Friday, go through everything one more time, and then go through Friday one more time because we've already been on for about 20 minutes already. South of Wimberley, so the Hayes-Comal County line. That would be, I'm thinking around 3:34. 3:30, 3 through 4 a.m. That's where I'm thinking. Samantha Foltman, the tornado threat is very low, but it is not zero. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have a brief spin up. Okay? Where are tornadoes most likely to spin up? We're thinking mainly along this line, this frontal boundary. So that's what we have here. So the rain's going to hang around a little bit. around the I-35 corridor for the early morning commute, but then we should be dry the rest of the day. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go through everything one more time. And we're going to start with the severe threat. But first, let's take a look at the radar right now. And the radar right now does show clearing, which, folks, this is not good. The clearing out is not good. You've got that instability. You've got that daytime heating out ahead of that front. This is not a good sight. This is not something you want to see today. You kind of wish the sun will stay in the clouds, but it's not. And so there will barely be a cap existent. So a lot of these strong storms are really going to get going. And this is why we have a slight 2 out of 5 risk for much of the KVUE viewing area, with the exception of western Mason and western Gillespie counties, as well as southern Caldwell and southern Fayette counties. You're still in that marginal. And we even have northeastern sections of Milam County, including Cameron, in that enhanced risk for severe weather. So they have a higher likelihood of damaging winds and maybe even a brief spin-up tornado. But hail, though, is the main threat, and much of the KVUE viewing area is in that hatched area. So significant hail of about baseball size, could be golf ball, ping pong ball size, even baseball sized hail is likely in some of these areas with some of these storms. Now, the timing of it is going to be everything, but we can't rule out damaging winds and maybe even a brief isolated tornado. So let's go ahead and go through our timing one more time. By the time we get to around 10:30, that's when that line starts to make its way into the KVUE viewing area. And then by the time we get to 11 and 12:30, that's when everything starts to sweep through the Austin metropolitan area. And then at around 1 or 2, we're looking at it for the coastal plains, places like Bastrop, places like Giddings, places like Lockhart, and then later on in that early morning run, places like Luling out toward LaGrange, Schulenburg, Muldoon, Flatonia, those areas. And then we dry out for the rest of the day on Thursday. Now let's also look ahead to Friday, because we also have a slight risk for severe weather for Friday, particularly Friday night into Saturday morning. And let's take a look at that as well. This is at around 7:30 on your Friday night. And we're going to go through this a little slower here. This is by the time we get to around 8:30, and then 9 o'clock. This is the time that most of you, if you're that type of person, would get ready to get on out to 6th or Rainy. I would say hold on that and maybe just stay inside, because that's when another line of storms, again, could be another hail producer moving through. And then by the time we get to around 11:30 and midnight, that's when things start to simmer down, and we do expect to clear out as we head through your early Saturday morning. So, to summarize, we've got slight risk for severe weather for tonight for most of the KVUE viewing area, and this also applies to Friday, but we're mainly focusing on tonight. Hatched area has also expanded. We're looking at much of the KVUE viewing area now for the potential for some significant hail that would be up to ping pong ball size or golf ball size hail, maybe even baseball size hail. Can't rule out damaging winds or a brief spin up tornado, but we're leaning more toward damaging winds being a secondary threat, especially with that squall line, which is also sometimes called a quasi-linear geologic system. But anyways, there it is at around 10:30. There it is as it makes its way through at 12:30, 1 a.m., 1:32. That's when that line moves through. And then everything should be out of here by around 5 a.m. So, how long should you postpone Friday? I would wait till midnight. I would wait till midnight. Thursday morning by around 5:30, 6 a.m. for the most part. Let's see who else. Yes, Amanda, baseball-sized hail. Roxy, I feel you. Samantha, my pleasure. Zeta, my pleasure. Is raining forecast Saturday during the day? No. We expect to be mainly sunny during the day on Saturday. And so we're going to go ahead, and I'm only going to answer a couple more questions before we wrap this up. Okay? Because we've already been on for nearly 30 minutes here, and I know you guys are on edge, and I want to let y'all go about your day and get through your preparations. Jacqueline, my pleasure. Thank you for joining us tonight, this afternoon. Let's see, what else do we have here? Let's see, any more questions? Yada, yada, yada. Nah, no new questions as of now. Let's see. New questions going once. New questions going twice. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and call it. Thank you guys so much for joining us this afternoon. Again, Hunter Williams is going to be in at 5, 6, and 10. And later on tonight, Grace Thornton's going to be joining him for team coverage. And later on, early tomorrow morning at around 3 o'clock, I'll be joining meteorologist Shane Hinton for team coverage of this system as it makes its way through. Thank y'all, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Please stay safe.